Hi nail friends, it's Rebecca here with Team Ladybug in July Beetle Box. So I'm first going to show you what we received in this month's Beetle Box. The first item is this custom stamping plate that Tracy put together and had made, and it's got our Queen Ladybug Productions logo on the back. It's really pretty, bunch of portraits on there, so excited to use that. The next thing is these polished swatch dots and also a new rubber base. So this one is exclusive right now to the Beetle Box. It's Graceful rubber base and it's a really pretty color. Here's a little swatch that we did inlaid with the logo in the disc, and I just love the bottles. These are really pretty. It's a high quality rubber base, HEMA-Free, and let me show you the color here. I'll zoom in. It's just a really nice neutral base color. Okay, and then the next things that we have are Ir-rose-istable, and this is a rainbow hollow chrome. The next item is Petal to the metal, and that's a very small glitter. And then there is Love's Reflection, and that is a holographic, slightly larger glitter. Let's just open that here. As you can see, there's a lot of light reflecting off of these cuts, and I love that glitter. Okay, so Petal to the metal, that is just a rose gold smaller glitter. It's really, really pretty. And this Ir-rose-istable hollow rose gold rainbow chrome, I've been asking Tracy for this, so this is one based on my request, and I just did it over a few different colors. So going from black down to pink, you can see how it looks different over different colors. Let me flip this over and show you. So the first one's black, then gray, white, the Graceful, and a pink. So those are what it looks like over different colors, and you can play around with that. Let's get to the fun part, the nails. So some of the items that I've used, and I just wanted to show you, this comes in a box with the whole set. I used the Restore Repair Rubber Base Gel and Metallic Glaze Shiny Surface Sealant from the Queen Ladybug Red Carpet series. Some of the other items that I used were No Buff as a base for the nails. I used Foil Gel, Ladybug Luster Wet Look Top Gel, Velvet Touch Matte Top Gel, OutShine No Wipe Top Gel. I used Velvet Touch One Stroke Paint number 15 in black. I used the Artistic Matte, and I also used Crystal Embossing Gel and Whipped Cream Gel in black. For brushes, I used a 00, a 9mm, and a Petal brush. From the Eye Candy Gel Polish collection, I used number 27 Angel Food Cake, number 35 Berry Tail Wedding, number 90 Pink Gumball, and also number 110, which is Midnight Licorice. Let's start with these polished swatch dots. You could use no buff on them, or you could just take your polish or your rubber base and paint over the top of it, fully cure, and I'd probably do 2 coats. Let's just show you what it looks like with the pink gumball, and I'm just going to put that on here. And I would fully cure that, probably put on a second coat, and then top coat, and then you're done. Oh, I learned later that you would either get the dots or these rings. So depending on what you got, you would still do these the same way as you do the dots and then attach them to the bottles. Okay, so let's get into this really pretty portrait stamping plate. First off, it comes in a nice covering. You can either keep that or discard it. And then you're going to want to get some tweezers and very carefully peel off the layers of the blue. Obviously you cannot, get the engraved detail with the blue on, and there are 2 layers on this. I don't know if every one of them has 2 layers, but all the stamping plates that I've come across lately have had 2 layers. I believe it's so they don't get scratched. So just peel that off. Before you use your plate, and in between, you're going to want to clean it because of the residue that's on it. So take acetone, wipe it off completely with that, and then alcohol, and let it air dry after that. All right, so let's start with Graceful, and I just want to show you there is a QR code on the back of here for the MSDS sheets if you need that. And the color's on the bottom, but the little swatch dots or swatch rings that you got would be great so you could showcase the color that's in the bottle. To apply this product, make sure you prep the surface of your natural nails as you would for any enhancements. Ensure there are no oils left behind that would prevent proper adhesion. Apply the rubber base over the surface of the nail, taking care not to touch the skin with the product. And then you'll cure in an LED lamp for 60 seconds. Do not under-cure, fully cure for 60 seconds. And then you can proceed with your gel polish of choice, or you can proceed with a top coat. If there is an oily surface, you can wipe it off or dry brush the product and put on your top coat. While I'm putting on the second coat, I'm just going to tell you about the benefits on a natural nail. There is more flexibility, meaning less breakage. It's a HEMA-free formula reducing allergies, and there's superior adhesion featuring a built-in primer, so there's no need to prime your nails unless you're an extreme lifter. Okay, so I am now going to use a 9mm brush. I'm just going to come around the edges here and pull that because I want the edges to be a little bit thinner. So I just put the rubber base on and I'm just making it so that there's just less product on the edges. You don't want it bulky around the sides of the nail. You can do this on a person or on the press-ons if you're making them. Okay, so let's go in with OutShine, and I'm going to take the nail that I pre-prepped with the black licorice and I'm just going to put a thin coat on here. You'll want to cure the OutShine from between 30 to 10 seconds depending on your lamp. Now I'm going to come back with a squeegee and I'm going to burnish in the Ir-rose-istable chrome, the Holo rainbow chrome. I love this. And you would then top with metallic glaze and a regular top coat. A little bit out of frame here, but you get the idea, and let's look at that shine. Really pretty. Okay, for the next nail, I've applied Graceful. I've used 2 coats and then I matte top coated with the Artistic Matte. And I'm going to take this top image up in the right corner and I'm going to use number 15 of the Velvet Touch One Stroke paint. So I'm just going to apply that with my 00 brush and put it on the plate. This is a little bit trickier, but you don't need that much, honestly. I usually overdo it, but just enough to cover the image edge. And then we're going to scrape this in. And just scrape and wipe, and then take your stamper, bounce it on, and there's the image. It's really quick. And you can position this however you want. I was trying to get it in the camera here and it looks good. I've got the image and there you can see she's over most of the nail. I just didn't have a bigger stamper handy. Okay, so I'm cleaning the plate with acetone and then alcohol, and I'm just going to wipe it so it's smooth and clean for the next use. After we've fully cured for 60 seconds in an LED, I'm going to go ahead and use Ir-rose-istable. I already had some on my stamper from earlier, and I'm just going to burnish it over the top. Since we use the Artistic Matte as our base coat, it's not going to stick to the background. It's literally only going to stick to the one stroke paint. At this point, I'm just going to cover with Velvet Touch Matte Top Gel. And then I'm actually going to use butterfly impression decals. These have been in our inventory for a while, and you could use these or any other butterfly decals that you have for this step. I'm actually going to peel this off of here so I can figure out which size I want. And I'm going to go for the smaller size because I think I want to put this right over her eyes. So I'm going to peel that off of there, being careful. and I'm just going to gently place them over her eyes. I've seen a lot of decals used that way. I don't want just one eye. I'm going to do both. I didn't know how I'd like it with one, but you could do either way, one or both. And then I'm going to get another one, and this time a little bit bigger, and I'm just going to put it on the edge. And I am not covering the whole body, but I wanted to cover that bottom part there, and I'm going to take my scissors and I'm just going to snip that right off. You could use a file, but I want to save the other half of that for later, and I'm going to place this down in a better position for what I want. And then I'm going to go ahead and top coat this with Velvet Touch Matte Top Gel. This is just so we don't see the edges of the decal that we have on here, and it'll blend right into the background. And then we're going to cure for 60 seconds. At this point, I'm going to come in with Ladybug Luster Wet Look Top Gel, and I'm just going to coat the whole nail. It's pretty smooth, so I don't have to worry about bumps. If I did, I would either buff them out after this and recoat with top gel, or I would just put a schmoozy layer on. Next, I have used no buff, and that's because I want to put this on the press-on nail. I'm just going to let that dry. And then I'm going to get the Restore Repair Rubber Base Gel. I'm going to do 2 side squiggles, sort of diagonal lines on here. They do not have to be perfect. I just want them smushy and squiggly, and I want a clear center. Then I'm going to take Graceful, and I'm going to fill in the spots that are not with the clear rubber base, and I'm going to put that in here so I can blend. I'm just going to basically fill in the lines, and then I'll come back in with my brush and fix the edges here. It's not going to look perfect. You have to trust the process. So I'm coming back in with my 9mm or a 00 brush, whichever you'd like, and I'm just going to blend in the 2 colors, well, the clear and the Graceful. I also want to make sure that I am not too thick in any areas or too thin. It doesn't have to be perfect, but we want a good shape. So now I'm going to take the 2 glitters that I have, Petal to the Metal and Love's Reflection. I'm going to start with Love's Reflection because it's the bigger glitter, and I'm just going to place it in the clear. It, again, does not have to be perfect. This is just sort of a cool little breakup in the Graceful color. So I'm just going to add quite a few of these and press them in, put them all around, and make sure that I have most of the clear covered. Then I'm going to go in with Petal to the Metal, which is the same sort of shade of rose gold, and I'm going to fill in the little empty spots where the clear is still showing and blend it in together. At this point, you want to make sure that you're holding it upside down periodically and blending with your 9mm brush to ensure that it still has the proper shape and form of a nail. So you want an apex, you don't want it too thick on the sides, you want it pretty thin on the sides, and you want the center to be popped up a little bit. So go ahead, move the glitter around, move the gel around, hold it upside down. Then after you've cured for 60 seconds, if you still have bumps and rough spots, go ahead, grab the metallic glaze, and we're gonna just put a nice top coat over that just to smooth it out. And then it's ready for Ladybug Luster Wet Look Top Gel, fully cure. And there is your completed nail. Okay, so for this next nail, I've chosen color number 90, Pink Gumball, as my base, and I have also used Artistic Matte over the top of that, cured for 2 minutes, and now I am grabbing some Ladybug Luster Wet Look Top Gel. I'm going to put that on my palette for later, just a little pile of that. And I've got my 00 brush here, and I've also got my butterfly decal to use as a reference. So whatever decals you chose, use that as your reference. And I am just going to paint the butterfly shape. I'm going to paint over like a half of a butterfly shape on this nail, and I'm using again the butterfly as a guideline. I'm just making the shape of the butterfly nail that I have. So if your butterfly is more pointed, you would make it more pointed. Mine is round, and I just want to follow along so I have a cohesive pattern with the decal that I applied to the portrait face on the other nail. So I'm just going to continue here. I'm going to fill it in. I'm going to blend the way I think it is. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to match a little bit, and I just want the same basic shape. So if there's 2 wings, do 2 wings. If there's only 1, do only 1. And don't cure this. We're going to use Petal to the Metal. So we want this wet because we're going to scoop over this glitter over the top of the wet gel, and that's how it's going to stick on. And you're just going to take and cover what you painted with the glitter. Try not to smush it too hard when you press it in. Just lightly press, but then you're going to fully cure. Get your rose gold rainbow hollow chrome, Ir-rose-istable, and you're also going to need black whipped cream gel. And you should also have a 9mm brush. Put the black whipped cream on your palette. But first, because I almost forgot this step, after you've cured the top coat and brushed off the excess glitter, put a super thin layer of artistic matte over the top of this nail. And then you're going to fully cure. I cure for 2 minutes. Now I've got my 9mm brush again, and I'm going to outline the way my butterfly decal is. I am not fully outlining this because if you have this decal, you can see you only have certain parts that are actually in the black, and I want to follow that pattern. So whatever decal you're using, follow the pattern and paint the edges of your butterfly with the black the black whipped cream gel. Don't paint it too thick. You want this a nice thin layer of black whipped cream. So I'm going around the bottom edges and around the base. It does not have to be perfect. I just want it to look very similar to the decal. And then I'm going to add a little bit of detail here and there. And let me just look at this again. Yeah, it's not fully around, but there are some details in the center. And I also need to do a little squiggle here on the side, just a small one. You don't want to do too much detail because you have a lot of glitter here. And then a body, do a big spot and pull it down. And then I'm going to pull the wings in to the body itself. And then I need the antenna, start at the head and pull out so that it gets thinner at the edge. And I'm just going to do a smaller one in the back and a little bit bigger. Then I'm going to take and do 2 dots for the top of the antenna. And I think I'll do a little bit of touch-ups here, maybe make it a little thicker. Don't do your whipped cream gel too thick. And once you're happy with how you've got it, just go ahead and put your details on, whatever details you want to put on, then fully cure. Now that I've fully cured that, I'm coming back with the Ir-rose-istable Rainbow Hollow Chrome. I have got that on my squeegee silicone sponge, and I'm just going to burnish that into the nail. You can see it's not really sticking to the other part, but a little bit of color. Once I burnish it in, you'll see that it's just only sticking to the whipped cream gel. And if there does stick to the other part, like maybe I didn't top coat it well enough, you can always come in with a little bit of alcohol or acetone and wipe off that extra chrome. I think I must have not top coated that very well when I put the thin layer on. So here's a lesson, and make sure you get the artistic matte all over. So I'm going to take my Ladybug Luster Wet Look Top Gel, put some on my palette. grab the 9mm brush, and I just want the glitter and chrome parts to be top coated with that. I want to leave the background matte, so I'm going to just gently go over the antenna and the body with the 9mm brush for the top coat. And then once I have that, I can flash cure. And now I'm going to come back in with my big brush from the bottle. Depending on your butterfly, you may be able to do this, or you may have to use the top coat on the palette. And then I'm just going to come in and top coat where the butterfly wings are. Also depends on how steady your hand is, whether you want to do this with the full brush or not. So make sure you have a nice layer of top coat so that this part of the butterfly is shiny and the rest of the nail is matte. You could do the whole nail shiny if you wanted. So once that's cured, you're done with this nail. For this next nail, I've started with a base of Angel Food Cake, which is white. I'm going to be using Love's Reflection glitter, Petal to the Metal glitter, metallic glaze. I'm also going to use foil gel. And first off, I'm going to start with Velvet Touch One Stroke Paint in Black, number 15. And I'm just going to put that on my stamping plate. I've chosen this design at the top, the second one in, and I'm just going to put some black paint on there. I'm going to scrape and wipe, scrape and wipe, scrape and wipe, and then I have a bigger stamper this time, and I am going to put it on my white. I forgot to mention that I did use Velvet Touch Matte Top Gel over the top of the white. And then I am not going to cure this yet. I'm going to get my Oval 6 cleanup brush, and I'm going to take some alcohol and wipe off just in the spots of the hair the one stroke paint. So it's getting it off all right. The alcohol is taking a little bit, so I'm just going to keep going here and try to get it off as best I can. Just the bulk of the gel one stroke paint I'm going to get off, and then it's not working so well, so I'm going to come back in with the Petal brush, and now I'm going to use some acetone because I think that'll work better than the alcohol. And I'm just going to clean up a little bit here with the smaller brush. You may want to even go to a 00. I have a lot of control over this, so I'm just going to come in, I'm going to clean up with acetone. Oh yeah, see, that's much better than using the alcohol. And I'm going to get rid of the dark colors of the hair. I don't want the lines or the dark colors. I just want her to have the outline of her hair. And I'm going to come in and clean all of that up with acetone. And once I'm happy with the way this looks, I can go ahead and fully cure for 60 seconds. But I just want to do a little bit of cleanup. I don't care about the bottom so much. Maybe blend it out a little, but I'll figure that out later. So go ahead and cure. I want to fill in her hair with the Love's Reflection glitter. Possibly use some of the Petal to the Metal, but right now I'm just going to stick to the Love's Reflection. And the easiest way for me is to use foil gel. So I am going to coat the nail with foil gel because it's cured. It's not going to smudge or anything. And I'm just going to do a super thin layer, and then I'm going to cure that for 2 minutes. So go ahead, coat the nail. Now I'm going to take my dotting tool. You could take a brush, however, whatever you want to do this part. The dotting tool works for me. And I'm going to individually place in like the tighter parts of the hair all of the glitter. I'm pretty detail oriented. That's like putting it mildly. And I am just going to do some glitter placement here. I found the best way for me to do glitter placement without it moving all over is to use foil gel. It's super sticky. I mean, you could technically just coat the hair parts with foil gel itself and use foil on the bits of hair if you wanted to. Maybe we'll do that another time. But right now I want glitter placement because I want her to go with the rest of the nails with the butterflies, and I want her to be super glittery. You could use other colors, but rose gold hair and glitter, just, it looks really pretty. So go ahead, place it. If you don't have the patience to place it like I'm placing it, you could probably pick up a little bit more with a brush and put them all down and then flatten them with your finger. But I want it to be really pretty, and I want some space in between the glitters. Just remember, you can move these with your dotting tool. So even if it's stuck or if it feels like stuck, it's not in gel, it's not going to run all over the place. You can use the dotting tool to manipulate and move around your little pieces of glitter. It's just another great way to use your foil gel. If you're not using it for foil all the time, I never have enough foil gel because I like to do glitter placement with it. If you want to draw little designs with your glitter, it's really, really helpful. It's just a good trick that I figured out one day. Anyway, go ahead and fill her hair with the glitter. It looks like that bottom part's her shoulder, and maybe I'll do glitter there, maybe I won't. I don't know. I'm gonna see how I feel about this whole thing. But I'm gonna try to do the outline first. I guess it's the cosmetologist in me, like going to hair school, you have to do the edges first. So anyway, go around, do the outline, and then you can fill it in. Like at that point, you could pick up a whole bunch and fill in the base and then make it smooth. Sorry, I'm a little bit out of focus here. But go ahead and finish filling in the hair with the glitter. And once you're happy with the way it looks, make sure you press it in with your finger as you go along or at the end. And if you need to move any of the pieces of glitter, you can use tweezers because it's sticky foil gel. It's not regular gel, so you're not going to end up with a big glob anywhere. I see a couple pieces here. Hold on. And I'm also going to use a stamper to push it down. If you don't want to use your fingers, this is another way. And now that I look at it, I kind of want that to be hair down there instead of a shoulder. I want her to have a lot of hair, and it's going to be a little bit longer and not go out of the picture. So just cover up the rest of that with the glitter and probably bring it down into the bottom so it blends. And yeah, I like that. And we can cover it up. Once we do some of the detail work after this, it's really gonna pop. Her hair is gonna be like so glittery and pretty. So I am gonna finish up here, and now here's where the metallic glaze comes in. You need to make sure that your top coat is gonna stick without peeling up, so we'll use metallic glaze as a in-between and fully cure that. Now we can come back with our Ladybug Luster Wet Look Top Gel. You shouldn't have any bumps because of the metallic glaze, but you can always put a little bit thicker in the middle and hold upside down before you cure. To complete this nail and give it a little bit of a finished look, we're going to use whipped cream gel in black, and we're just going to outline the hair and the major features. I wouldn't go too much into face detail because then, you know, it's going to look a little bit overdone. You want her hair to pop. That's the main thing that we're looking for, is the glitter hair. So I'm just outlining what I see. It doesn't necessarily have to match the stamping plate exactly. Just go with however your glitter formed and how you think it should look. You can, you know, obviously follow the line detail, but make it your own and make her hair, you know, pop. Maybe put a little detail on the neck and the chin, but don't go too overboard. It looks a little bit overdone if you do that. And just remember, you can wipe it off if you don't like the way it looks and redo it. So don't, you know, be too worried if you made a little mistake. You can wipe it off, or you can use a cleanup brush and fix the detail. And you can go in and make some areas a little bit thicker. I want it to pop a little bit more in some spots. So I'm just taking the way I think it looks and giving her a little bit more definition in some spots than others. A little bit of shadow and light play here is what we're going for. So follow along. Those little hairs there, I'm gonna make it, you know, just go. I'm gonna go with it. So you go with it too and do what you think, and once that's cured, that nail is done. For my last nail, I'm using Berry Tail Wedding as the base color. I'm going to need Ir-rose-istable chrome. I'm also going to need Outshine. So I'm going to coat the nail in a thin layer of Outshine, and I'm literally only going to cure this for 10 seconds. Now I've got my Crystal Embossing Gel. You could use whipped cream in a pinch, but I prefer this. And I'm going to get my 9mm brush, and I'm going to make a rose. So I'm going to get a little bit of gel on my brush. I'm going to do a little C sort of pattern and another C pattern, and then another line on the outside to bring in the two sides, and another one on the other side. So I have 4 petals. Then I'm just going to keep going around. I'm going to bring each edge together, and as the size gets bigger, I'll make more petals. I usually do 3 petals on the next one, so the third layer has 3 petals. And then I'm literally just going to go around in a circle, or a sort of circle for my rose. Each petal should have a center and edges. So you want your center to be thicker, which is why you start in the center with the gel and then pull out towards the edges. You can always come back and add a little bit more gel if you need to. You can adjust this. It doesn't not move completely. It might run together if your petals are too close, but it does stay pretty much in the same spot, not at all like gel polish that would just completely run together. So go ahead, keep forming your petals. Make sure you're not just doing circle, circle, concentric circle, because that would look weird as a rose. You want them to be off center, and you want them to be different widths. They would not all be the same exact width, because no flower is exactly perfect in itself. And just bring them around so that you have a thicker center, and then pull out towards the edges, making it thinner. Once you have your whole flower basically done, I wouldn't go too far up to the edge or to the, top of the nail, because you want some space there. You can come back in and correct. So I'm going to wipe off my brush, and I'm just going to drag and pull out the parts that are too close together. I can't use acetone, so I have to use a dry brush for this portion. And then once I'm happy with it, I am only going to cure for 30 seconds. Now I'm coming back in with my Ir-rose-istable chrome, and I am going to burnish that over the whole nail. Because I've technically only cured this for 40 seconds, it's not had a full 60-second cure, it's going to take the chrome really nice. And I'm just going to burnish it in, and after I've cured that, I will come back in with metallic glaze, and then I will coat the whole nail, filling in everything. I don't want any bumps on this, so I'm using that also to fill in, and I'm going to cure that. Now I can come back in with the Ladybug Luster Wet Look Top Coat, and this nail is really going to shine. It's going to give you the feeling of a rose or whatever pattern you drew. I brought these outside so you can really see the shine and a little bit of the rainbow. It was a little bit overcast, so it's not 100% perfect, but you can see how pretty these are. I hope you enjoyed these nails. Like and follow for more, and please tag us if you do any of the designs.